Ready? Chapter 35. Niila. Today you'll get to meet my brother. Ella patted Aino on the shoulder. Aino took a deep breath. It wasn't long left now. In a few days she would be in the presence of all of them at the headquarters. Every single soldier and officer who carried her blood. She hoped she would still be herself by then. She was getting increasingly worried that her feelings would be overtaken by them. She looked over at Keon standing beside her. Would the two of them be enough against more than 6,000 of them? Brigadier General Jarl looked over at his creator. He had been on constant watch by at least 2 other officers at all times. He knew that he was living on borrowed time. Niila was nowhere close to as merciful as his sister. He would have to take his chance once they arrived at the general's camp. There would only be a small window before the other officers would tell Niila what he had done. He had to use it to his advantage, no matter what. Niila sat up straight and looked at the horizon. She was coming. He could feel her, more and more by the minute. He stood up and shouted, "Our creator is coming! Let's give her a warm welcome!" All the officers froze for a second. The time had finally come. They all stood up and started running back and forth, not sure how they should be preparing, but trying to do so nonetheless. As the big following approached the camp, they saw all the officers lined up, ready to greet them. Niila was in the front, towering over the rest of them. He was without a doubt the biggest human being Keon had ever seen. The general had to be half a meter taller than him. Niila was fit and well built. His body seemed to be perfectly modeled after his size. His blue eyes was almost glowing. He looked so much like his sister. They even had the same dark hair, his a bit shorter than hers. Niila stepped in front of Aino and Keon. As soon as she was off his back, the general grabbed her and held her tight. She felt something dripping on her head. "And now he's starting the waterworks as well," Ture sighed as he saw Niila start to cry in front of him. Ayla looked at her brother with compassion in her eyes. "I know how you feel. Isn't she beautiful?" "She's flawless," he said as he wiped his tears. Ture squinted his eyes as he looked at Aino. Why didn't he see what they saw? Did he really need glasses? Niila held Aino for several more minutes, refusing to let go. Eventually the smell of his cloak became too much for her to handle. "Niila, you can let me go now," she said to him. "You don't like hugging me?" he asked her jokingly. "No, it's not that. It's just that your cloak stinks," she answered. He let her go and smelled it. Yeah, it kind of does. Dried blood isn't exactly the fanciest of smells. It keeps the enemy away," he said and shrugged. "Well, it keeps me away as well," Aino responded. "And who might this be?" Niila said as he turned his attention to Keon. "He carries her. They're always together. I think they like each other," Ayla responded before Keon even had the chance to open his mouth. "Our creator got herself a boyfriend, eh?" he said and chuckled as he thumped Keon on the back. The thump, however, was so hard that Keon slammed right into the ground. "I am so sorry. Are you hurt?" the general said, worried as he grabbed Keon and stood him up straight. Keon looked at him, a bit dizzy in the head. "No, I'm good," he assured the giant man. Ayla looked at her brother. "That wasn't very nice." "I didn't mean it. He was just so light, he just flew," Niila responded. Ture gave up a big sigh. "Banke, I don't get it. Is it me? The twins are both talking about how beautiful and perfect our creator is, but I don't see it at all," he asked his fellow general. "They've idolized her since they were 7. Of course she's perfect to them," Banke answered. "Yes, but at the same time, meeting her has been my goal since I was 12 years old. So why don't I feel the same?" Ture asked him. Banke shrugged. "I don't know. I don't have all the answers to how feelings work. If I did, I would have been able to reach Edda by now." "Oh, give up on her, will you? I'm tired of your constant Edda here, Edda there. Open up your heart to someone else. You've got the full package, Joa said, annoyed. Yeah, I do have a nice package, Banke grinned. Unlike me, you got more than just a nice package, so use it on someone who actually cares. Edda isn't it, Joa ascertained. I need a moment to clear my head. Let's take a walk in the forest, away from everyone. Keon turned to Aino, who nodded in agreement at him. The forests here in the south were different from the ones in the north. Broad-leaved forests instead of the regular softwood ones he was accustomed to. He had never been this far south before. The climate was warmer than the one he was used to as well. His parents had come here for the cold, but he preferred this over the chillier weather. Put me down for a moment. I like it here, Aino said to him as he let loose the grip of her. She sat down leaning on one of the trees. He looked at her as the light from the sun hit her face. It almost looks like a painting here. Our nature has a lot of charm, he said to her. She smiled at him. It sure does. It's okay if you want to go explore more. I'll be right here. Just don't go too far. He smiled back at her. I won't. I'll just be a few minutes away. I'll be back before you know it. Jarl saw Keon and Aino walk into the forest alone at the corner of his eye. This was his chance. Hey, I need to take a piss, he told the two officers watching him. They both looked at him. You know we're going to go with you. We aren't leaving you alone. I know. I still need to do it whether you're watching or not, he responded. Jarl stood facing away from the other two officers as they watched him closely in the forest. He only needed a second of them looking away. He glanced over at them repeatedly, and there it was. They were talking to each other, looking at each other, not him. He swung around and knocked the two officers' heads together. They both sank down to the ground, unconscious from the hard blow. He bent down and grabbed his large knives from them. He looked at the carefully embellished blades and shafts. A sinister smile formed on his face. Well, my dear creator, here I come.